Okay, so now that we've talked about the simple tenses and the progressive tenses, let's move on to the perfect simple tenses. Basically, we use the perfect simple tenses to show the relationship between two events or conditions, and it takes the form of have plus the past participle of the verb. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck is the past participle and how am I going to identify that? Well, usually the past participle looks like the verb's past tense form with an ed ending. For example, jumped, helped, or looked. But there are actually a bunch of irregulars. For example, fall changes to fallen, go changes to gone, be changes to been, see changes to seen. So now that I've scared you, I'm happy to tell you that you actually don't really have to remember all of the irregular past participle forms of the verbs to be able to identify the perfect simple tenses. Really, all you need to do to identify a perfect tense is to locate some form of the verb to have, immediately followed by the past participle or just another form of the verb. So let's take a look at the present perfect simple for an example so that you can better understand how to identify this tense in a sentence. Basically, we use the present perfect simple to describe an action or condition that started in the past and has continued into the present. So, for example, I have wanted to learn Thai for a while. I wanted to learn Thai and I still want to learn Thai. Basically, the easiest way to identify this tense is to see that I have the present simple form of the verb to have, immediately followed by another form of the verb want, the past participle form of the verb want, which is wanted. So here you can see that I have the present, because have is in its present simple form, and followed by wanted, which means I have the present simple form of the verb. Now let's take a look at the past perfect simple. Basically, we use the past perfect simple to describe the relationship of two actions or conditions that have happened in the past. So in this example, I had wanted to learn Thai until I realized how complicated it is. Okay, so how can you identify the verb tense in this sentence? Well, let's take a look. I have had wanted. Had is in the past simple form of have, followed immediately by the past participle or another verb form or another form of the verb want. Okay? So here you can see that you have the past, because had is in the past simple form, past perfect simple form. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the future perfect simple. We usually use that to describe the relationships of two events that will happen in the future. Now, I'm sure that you can probably gather, or that you can probably see the pattern of how to identify this verb tense, but let's take a look at the example. By the time I get off of the plane, I will have been awake for 24 hours. So if you take a look over here, we have will, which indicates future, and we have, which we know is in the perfect tenses, and been, which is one of our past participles. So therefore, we can see that will have is the perfect simple form of the verb to have, plus another form of the verb to be, which is been, the past participle form. Therefore, we can identify this tense as being the future perfect simple tense. And that's it for the perfect simple tenses so far.